Okay, next up, we have Zone Raiders by Feral Basilisk Studios, Ben.
So yes, this is the brainchild of a guy called Tony Shao, and this is a open model system campaign skirmish game that allows you to play with as many different sci-fi models as you like, brought down into this world that is meant to be very fluid and cinematic. So they've taken some cues from existing games that already exist out there, like Carnivale, which has got this really nice fluid movement system to it, as you'll know from some of our gameplay videos and stuff like that. This game has that kind of thing to it, so there's lots of parkour, zipping around, leaping off buildings, running through jungles and inside facilities and over the top of them as well, and it's got really dynamic combat built into it at the same time. There are 7 distinct factions, but obviously because it's an open model system, you can take any of the different ranges that you want out there and plug them into each of these different factions as you see fit. The cool thing about that is the artwork for the game is so broad but deep in a way. So it allows you to, it basically covers everything in the sci-fi spectrum, looking at stuff that's very, very familiar to a lot of people, and also some stuff that's very, very esoteric. So if you've got models from very different ranges, you can still bring them together in some way and use them in the game, which I thought was really cool. It's got team-based play to it, which is very cool. Everything's based around the idea of between 6 to 12 miniatures. It's also got solo play and cooperative as well. So if you want to delve into the game and play it by yourself or with another person against an AI-controlled enemy, you've got that sort of going for you as well there too. They've actually put together a little bit of a sort of like a free PDF as part of the Kickstarter that you can go and have a look at and download and play through one of the introductory missions using whatever models you have in your collection. But they've also got some aspects of the rules on there as well if you want to go and look at it in a bit more depth. But when it comes to sci-fi skirmish games, this one sounds absolutely amazing. And I love the idea of a game that's basically just all about the rules and then shoot whatever miniatures you've got in your collection. So yeah, very
Yeah, is it not the type of thing though where mini ranges go to die in something like that though? You know, it's especially in the sci-fi range where they're all so tightly themed. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to take your old Wizards of the Coast Star Wars minis and put them up against AT-43.
Well, I think that, as I say, the key aspect is that when you're looking at the sort of the artwork for the world, it gives you a sort of like a vague idea of exactly how that faction works and looks within that world. So you'll try and buy miniatures that fit into that. So even if your miniatures come from different ranges, they're still going to kind of be around the same aesthetic, which I think is really cool. Because obviously we've seen a lot of people using stuff from the guys at the guys at Corpus Belli for Infinity and stuff in this game, which I thought was a really good idea. And there's also loads of other miniature ranges out there as well.
But you're not going to look at your minis and go, I don't know, unless you went to somewhere like Hassle Free or one of these places that do great collections of kind of generic. I don't want to say generic because they're designed beautifully and they're full of
basically
character.
miniature ranges without games.
Agnostic.
Yeah, agnostic is a great word. They're agnostic miniature ranges. Because if somebody rocked up with their Infinity minis, I'd be looking at them going, they're Infinity minis.
Yeah.
You know, it's I find it hard to detach myself.
There are a few games like this where they're not tied to a specific line now. So you've got this, and there's Rogue Stars, Ospreys, sort of sci-fi.
Priestley's fantasy book as well.
And the idea is, if you've got a range kicking around that you're not doing anything with, and the likes of Hassle-Free is a prime example. Hassle-Free do a very nice SG-1 team, and there's no game for Stargate SG-1 kicking around currently.
No.
But being able to pull those in with some other miniatures that look like they could be sort of Goa'uld or Jafar sort of figures, and doing your own SG game would be great. It will live or die on the actual mechanics. What makes this more interesting than playing Infinity with your Infinity figures? Because otherwise there are miniature ranges out there, and even for old dead games I have bundles sitting about the house, and it's just a case of I never really got into the game, but I picked up the miniatures because I like the miniatures. But having a game that had a unique or interesting set of rules attached to it, that I could go, well, I've got X number of whatever happens to be Raging Heroes. I've got a ton of Toughest Girls in the Galaxy models from the first time around, and they are stunning sculpts. And I picked them up solely because I went, they're really nice sculpts. I want to do something with those. And that's it. It's just...
The other thing it gives you to do, though, is it's not necessarily you've just picked up minis that the game's died for. You've maybe found yourself in a situation where you've got, well, I've got 4 or 5 of them and 2 or 3 of them. They look pretty similar. I'll put them together in your bits box, but you don't have a whole army to flesh out. And it gives you permission then to just
go nuts.
Do you know what? We're just going to play wherever we want because, you know, I have this rule book, and if you have that rule book, we both know we're of the mindset of, we don't really care.
It is one of the things, you know, this kind of project lives or dies on the quality of the mechanics.
Well, look at Two Fat Lardies. They only produce rule books, and they produce great rule systems.
Yeah,
and that's what they trade on.
That is why something like this is worth checking out, because you could find that you and your buddies love this rule set.
Yep.
Because Two Fight Lordies are living proof of
that it
that.
works, yeah.
And the fact that Rick Priestley has done the same thing with the new fantasy book.
Yeah.
It's there is a place for it.
Yeah,
but it
It needs to be
depends.
unique
It
enough.
needs to be good. It needs to be
With the
done.
PDF being there, people can go and check this out and see if it grabs them.
But I
give
can
it a go.
understand this. Like some miniature ranges are just so popular and tied to their game that it would feel weird.
Yeah.
Like if you took 40k miniatures and put it into this, is this gonna feel a bit weird? And I got your Star Wars reference there because it's such a well-known. Well, that's Star Wars sort of IP. Whereas you do, like you guys have talked about, you get so many other maybe Kickstarters and things where there's been a bunch of minis released.
Yep.
Maybe the game hasn't quite taken off. So I get your point.
They're not
about-
typecast.
I get, that's it.
They're
I
not
get your point about
typecast. Yeah,
deck games.
I think something like this would be brilliant for minis that don't have a typecast effect to them.
Definitely a
where
good
you
idea.
can suspend your disbelief and just let the minis be what they want to be in the thing.
Yeah, I was just going to say as well. It also comes down to this idea that it opens up the hobby for a lot of people. Like, if you come to this game and you've got sort of like a whole bunch of different things that you want to try and bring together to create a crew to play in this game, suddenly you're bits bashing and kit bashing and all that kind of thing as well. So you've got that aspect of things coming together here as well, which I think is pretty good.
Well, I mean, like for this, you wouldn't maybe even have to bother with the actual world or the backstory for this game. You could just say, this is a great mechanical system. I'm going to write my own backstory for my stuff and just use it as a framework to lay out my own stories on the tabletop.